Welcome to the Hidden Horrors You Must Hear podcast. My name is Sterling Anno.
No Spork guy? Alright, fine.
I usually say that for the end.
Okay, alright.
That's kind of what everyone
was
waits for.
expecting,
That's the only
yeah.
reason why people actually
Exactly.
listen to this.
And I am James J. Coker, and this is a brand new, another year in episode of Hidden Horrors You Must Hear. Sorry there wasn't any episodes in between, guys. The last countdown for the best horror movies of 2016, guys. We had a turbulent year, and let's face it, 2017 may have been a terrific year for movies, but holy shit was it horrible for everything else on the fucking planet.
This was a dog dirt year for human rights, for
The environment.
for the environment.
The economy, even though say Republicans say the economy's good. Really, tell that to Carrier, AT&T, Walmart, and Toys R Us right now. But okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, it was great for Amazon.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Amazon.
You know what the actual scariest thing about this whole year was when it comes to finances?
Yeah.
If you look at the margin of basic look at how much more money Amazon made from the second biggest earning of the year, which was Walmart. Look at that. It's literally 60% higher than Walmart.
Yeah, it's wow. Not to mention, another thing on why last year was such a shitty fucking year for everything else but movies was that we are now closer to a nuclear holocaust.
Much closer.
Much closer than we ever anticipated.
Yes.
Yay. Okay.
This is great because we have world leaders who compare dick sizes.
With their nuclear arsenal. Yay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is literally the SNL sketch version of Bay of Pigs.
Yeah.
Like this is not. I thought this would be funnier.
I know. I honestly thought so too. You think you want to just move to like other things about the year before we just get depressed about how we're all
Aside from
die?
wanting to move out of here, yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
So-
But anyways, Sterling, it was also a turbulent year. Why? It was also a turbulent year for me because last year was my wedding year. I got fucking married, folks. And Sterling, you were one of my best men.
Yes, that was fun.
Which you've been trying to be a best man at a wedding for like several times now. But
Yeah,
finally...
I missed my chance 3 times in a row.
But then I come in there and be like, "You're a best man," and you were like, "Yeah."
It was awesome because I'm usually meant to be like the photographer, I guess.
No, that
But-
was Tim's job this time.
I actually really enjoyed being a part of a ceremony and helping usher you into a new part of your life. Plus, the venue you used was literally the castle from Resident Evil 4.
Pretty much. It was outside, if for any of you Southern Californians, it was outside of the Mission Inn Chapel, at the Mission Inn in downtown Riverside. So
Yeah, it was pretty rad.
It was a nice wedding.
Yeah.
It was a crazy. But leading up to it, oh my god, the family help we needed, the money we had to save, the stress, seeing my wife just flip out about stuff and have a few "I love you, baby," but seeing her have a few small Godzilla moments or son of Godzilla moments. Or son of Bridezilla moments.
As long as you don't say Godzilla's Revenge.
No, not that one.
Nothing's that bad.
Nothing's that bad. Nothing's that bad.
Okay.
But anyways, it was a turbulent year, and holy shit, I'm married. So yeah, that was a crazy year. That's also why, foreshadow, folks, why some of us, or at least me, didn't see a good chunk of horror movies last year because I had a turbulent year. I was getting married. I had to plan a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah. Well, also, it's not really the climate in which you really want to watch that many movies willingly. I was watching the rest of my horror movies because I knew this was coming up and I wanted to make sure I have a solid list. But it wasn't because the political climate we live in right now is making it easy to escape anymore. But, especially the fact that we have one of the best / sadly now most sloppy political movements going on in Hollywood.
Oh, jeez. You want to lead into that? You want to
Sure,
lead into that specific movement?
I'll lead into it because, I still support it. It's just...
At its core.
Yeah.
Its core, you support it. But the thing is, it started off so well. It was like, yes, men have abused their power and they've been getting away with this shit for decades. And it's about time the women stand up and they do this. And the monster known as Harvey Weinstein is finally taken down. And now, after the Aziz Ansari case, it's taken a bit of a turn. It's
now become a bit of a parody of what it once was. But I don't mean that in the sense that it's a failure, stop. Like, no, keep going.
No, yeah.
But things have to be targeted for the right reason. Otherwise, it's going to unravel itself. And I'm saying this from the stance of someone who wants it to succeed.
Yeah.
Mainly because, you know, we had Weinstein go down, we had Cine Family go down because of their dumbasses, we had Tim League get called out worldwide for hiring that piece of shit back secretly without telling any of the women on staff. We had
Kevin Spacey.
We had Bryan Singer. We currently still have James Franco. There's a lot of things that are going on that I've heard things about them many times. You know, you can't have pedos in Hollywood and then all of a sudden forget that they were pedos. You know, and then you know, basically, we sadly now do have somewhat of a few targets that are basically having their careers destroyed because they had a bad date. Or because they didn't read the signs they probably should have. So basically...
Which, you have to admit, guys are kind of bad with that.
Yeah.
We're bad. We're bad with sign reading, ladies.
Yeah, unless it's Will
direct.
Smith and Hitch.
I know.
You know,
I know.
Kind of.
But it kind of. I think with the Aziz Ansari case, it kind of showed. It was a lesson for men to say, we're bad with signs, but also like women need to be a little bit more direct. You know.
Yeah, but then it becomes battle of the sexes, of the whole of instinct versus bullshit logic, whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
and that argument doesn't work for me either. But at the same time, if it's literally ruining people's livelihoods, maybe there should be a new system put up in which there's a more direct, even if it's lame, kind of system of an app or something that reads.
Not to mention, you know, the thing that you were told me a month ago with the Louis C.K. thing. It's like, what Louis C.K. did was fucking gross and uncalled for. But the thing is, when they took him down, a lot of people worked for them and they lost their jobs. Yeah,
a lot of people lost their jobs. I have one friend who, of course, I won't name, who lost their job because they were doing a lot of work for FX. And when Louis C.K. went down, almost all of FX went down for a second, and then they rehired a bunch in their stead. So the only reason why something like Baskets is still going on is because there was multiple producers.
Yeah.
But a lot of people under Louis C.K., they're all gone. They were unemployed from that show. Yeah. So hopefully they all found something good to replace it with. But that's always never for sure. And, you know, it's a shame. Like, you can't have this guy working with this much power. You can't. But it's unfortunate how many dominoes fall after him.
Yeah, it is.
They weren't they weren't guilty of anything other than working for someone unknowingly who is just a monster.
He did some really nasty shit.
Nasty
you have to
shit.
admit, what he did was like really uncalled for. You know,
but he would willingly do it.
He would. It's like, he was
like
I love his stand-ups too, so it was heartbreaking for me. I was like,
well, no, everyone thinks he's still, you know, his stuff was funny, but it's like, it's someone who's basically saying, no, I can quit cigarettes anytime.
Yeah,
that was kind of almost like, and also his article when he, you know, announced that he was admitting to it. You know, all the women are right that he did not apologize for it. You know, he just said, yeah, I did it. So I'm gonna go to some therapy and I'll be back. And they're like, no, you won't. Like, oh, well, you know, c'est la vie. You know, that was kind of like his thing. Like he still didn't say, well, you know, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for basically what I've done. And then I did get to see a screener of I Love You, Daddy.
How is it?
Well, it's not a bad movie. It's pretty, you know, it's very artsy and, you know, black and white.
Yeah.
Like, the whole movie feels like the intro to Always Sunny.
Okay.
And basically, it's just a whimsical gender war movie in a way. But at the same time, if you really watch it, it feels like a cry for help. It feels like Louis C.K. making a movie where he's admitting to everything he's ever done. And the fact that he was caught on all this stuff right before it came out is just coincidental. So now that you see this movie, it is literally
whole new meeting.
Yeah, it's him fighting with different parts of his psyche. It's other characters just portraying parts of his brain. But him admitting that he doesn't think he ever did anything wrong. Him thinking that he is above women. Him, you know, Charlie Day jerking off in front of a girl. You know, all this stuff going on where it's like, okay, now I get it. All your comedy has literally been just writing what you know, because it's what you do every day.
Yeah.
And it makes it creepy. It makes it weird. It's not a bad movie again, but it's going to be impossible to separate this one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it right now, you shouldn't separate it from this one because it makes it that much more interesting. Even ask Beth Accomando with Cinema Junkie. She's a huge fan of that movie. She
actually saw it. And I was like, holy shit.
She got the screener in the mail. I had someone show me the screener because they knew I would probably not see it otherwise.
Yeah.
So basically...
it's become this lost movie now.
Yeah. It's become a lost movie until someone ballsy enough picks it up from the orchard who used to have it. But yeah, Beth says it's great. She says it's a movie that people should really see, and that it's a shame that people can't see it. So... a mainstream film critic says it's great. I say it's great, and I'm nothing. But, it's give it a chance when you see it, but only for the sake of how trippy a meta movie this is now. Yeah. So,
and to our dear listeners, sorry for everything getting so bleak and fucked up and political and cultural and stuff. It's like,
but you kind of live in this world now.
You live in this world. That was 2017. What do you expect, guys? But don't worry, we're gonna go back to horror movies because, as horror fans ourselves, and you guys as horror fans, you're like, when are you going to get to the best fucking movies? We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, 2016, we lost a ton of great people.
Yeah.
It was one after another. It was like Game of Thrones up in that motherfucker. 2017, we didn't lose as much, but the horror community last year lost 2 legends. Legends that practically, when I heard the news for both of them, I started crying. And my wife looked at me like, baby, what's going on? And I was like, these 2 men meant so much to me. And that was George Romero, the father of the modern-day zombie films, and Tobe Hooper, the creator of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Both masters of horror, and we lost them both within a month of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it came as a shock because... the one I felt really bad for when I first heard the news about George Romero was Steve, Uncle Creepy from Dread Central. I was like, oh man, Steve's going to take this hard because he was actually best friends with George Romero.
Yeah. They were literally best friends.
Yeah.
And that is tough,
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. I mean, everyone lost an uncle.
It was like the Wes Craven death.
Yeah.
We lost one uncle in 2015, and then we lost 2 uncles in 2017.
Well, we lost an uncle and a grandfather.
And a grandfather.
So it was terrible. It was like both of my grandfathers have both passed on. But when George passed, it was almost like, well, my real last one's gone now.
Yeah.
But
the reason why George felt so bad was because George was such a pioneer of independent filmmaking and cinema that if you ever have done independent cinema or even independent filmmaking, even on a micro budget, when he passed, it was like a godfather who ushered in and made you feel like, yes, I can make movies. Yes, I can do this on a small budget. It was when he went, it was like, our godfather of that feeling, of that movement left.
Yeah.
And it hurt. It hurt bad. And then when Hooper left, I felt really bad for Southern filmmakers, especially my friend Chelsea, who made the horror film Smile, the short horror film Smile last year. She's a Texas-based female horror filmmaker, and she took the news about Tobe Hooper bad because Tobe Hooper's like pretty much a legend in Texas, obviously.
Yes. No, yeah. And, I still credit him with making probably the greatest horror movie ever.
It's the most grisly horror film.
Yeah, it still hits every single mark at like 11 out of 10. And that will never be done again. No. Obviously, Hollywood's tried. Michael Bay has tried.
Oh yeah, a very glossy looking fucking remake. But
yeah,
still,
with freaking Ermey and his eyebrows being the main horror guy. But I mean, to me, it's you have both of them, and to me, they're. Like, literally, you create one genre and one entire method of filmmaking, and the other literally creates the limits that we need to push in order to keep slasher films going. And
what's cool? Both of those filmmakers, their horror films were subtle metaphors for the changing climate in Vietnam at the time.
Yeah.
Both horror films.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm happy that modern horror films, especially last year's horror films, did the same thing. They took problems within the culture and they did it, but they did it in a subtle way.
Yeah.
And not over your head, like, look at me, like certain horror films have done in the past.
Yeah.
But, Sterling, I wanted to ask you, given how much Romero pretty much created a whole subgenre of the zombie subgenre, and Hooper showed how Southern-based filmmakers can make terrific horror films, what are your two favorite horror films from Romero and two favorite horror films from Hooper?
My two favorite from Romero are Creepshow.
Oh, obviously.
Creepshow is just
Obviously.
insane.
It's, oh.
Yeah. And
DC Comics put into a whole movie.
yeah. I think it's fantastic. That's the film I chose to watch the day he passed away. Because I had to revisit something that I think is still one of the best anthologies ever made.
See, when he passed, I visited his most underrated film, Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead.
I visited Land of the Dead, and luckily more people are like,
I have a more underrated film that he's made. To me, my
Bruiser?
No, my most underrated film that he's ever made, in my opinion, is Night Riders,
I
because
still haven't seen that.
I think it's beautiful. I think it is okay in a way. Yes, it is kind of his music of love or whatever.
Yeah.
Wes Craven's like
Heart of the Music or something.
Heart of the yeah.
Meryl Streep. Yeah.
Which obviously I like that movie. Anyway, but this is like his dramatic, like total like bromance, epic, and it's so ridiculous, but it's so amazing. That's not my second favorite by him. It's just, to me, that's the film that people need to see more so that they can see really how diverse he really is. Like, he made a touching drama that is good, and then he goes right back to,
Zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my other, no, Night of the Living Dead.
Oh.
Night.
You know what?
That's my favorite of the whole Dead series, and I don't think it can ever change.
Okay. I hate to say this, Sterling, but those are the exact same two favorite Romero films. Night of the Living Dead, because it ushered in a whole subgenre, but also you didn't know fucking anything about the zombies. You were like, why are these dead people walking around and attacking people?
Exactly.
You had no clue, and because you had no clue and you didn't know what these things were, it made it that much more terrifying.
Yeah.
And also Creepshow, because it's almost like a celebration of EC Comics and that ghoulish style horror.
Yeah.
All in one movie.
Yes.
And the colored lighting, the style, the little framework they have, it's absolutely beautiful. It's actually, come to think of it, if you want a horror movie that escalates or encapsulates ghoulish horror to the 10th degree, it's Creepshow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we have the exact same favorite Romero films.
Yeah.
All right. And then your Hooper films?
My two favorite, first off, Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, of course.
That's so surprising. But my other one, by far, strangely by far, is Life Force.
I knew you were going to say Life Force.
I love Life Force. I think
it's a fun movie.
It's my favorite canon film. It's my favorite Hooper film that's not about Texas. And it is, I think, one of... Fuck it. It's one of my favorite vampire movies ever.
Yeah,
you know?
batshit crazy
the
vampire
effects
film.
are amazing.
Yeah, when he turns into the giant bat monster, or when the light comes out of them and sucks
when
their
he
life force.
explodes, when he runs at the jail bars.
Yes.
Like, all these things are amazing, but people don't give it any credit. They say it's just a terrible B movie that's awful, has no redeeming qualities.
It is a little long in the tooth, though.
It's a little long,
but
I mean, come on, Patrick Stewart is talking through a woman.
I know.
You know, like, come on.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. And when I rewatched it last October for my vampire movie for October, I was surprised at how ballsy and crazy it was. I was like, I forgot how fucking nuts this movie is.
Yeah.
How many big explosions and special effects and buildings on fire. I was like, holy shit, like Hooper pulled this off really well.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, obviously the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, you have such a grimy, grisly, nasty, uncomfortable Southern style slasher film that really gets into your face and screams and spits in your face and doesn't let go. And my second favorite is, this is really cliche, but my second favorite Hooper movie is the exact same movie, but the complete opposite tone with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Sure.
It's so opposite of the first film. The first film was ugly and in your face and grisly, and it was 70s with hippie victims. The second movie is mid-80s with yuppie victims, and it's cheesy, it's purposely funny, it's a satire of Texas culture. It's almost saying it's Hooper saying I love Texas, but I also fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gore in it too, and it's kind of wacky also.
It's very wacky.
It's like he said
it created all the nicknames that we go back to now to identify even the characters in the first film. Even though it's not really Chop Top, but it kind of is. He has a knife. You know, it's his name's Leatherface, even though he's unnamed
in the first
basically.
movie. Yeah, in the first movie he's just Bubba.
Yeah, which to me, I doubt that's even his real name. You know, so it's really cool. They go by code names, but in this movie, they go by actual like Ninja Turtle villain names.
Yes,
you know.
It's guys. If you want to watch a sequel that does the complete opposite, but it still turns out really fucking well, and it's from the same director.
Yeah,
it showed Tuber's skill to take a well-loved movie he did the first time and do the same movie but just flip every single thing about the first movie.
Yeah,
in the opposite tone. And,
definitely.
You know,
no, I agree. But really quickly, I have one thing to add.
Yeah,
there's a third legend that passed away that needs his just desserts right now.
Herschel Gordon Lewis, but that was 2016.
That was 16.
That was 16. Yeah,
I am talking about Haruo Nakajima. We need to talk about the Big G really quick.
You got to mention Big G
because he passed away during the Oceanside Film Festival. So that took me kind of like a nosedive. I dedicated one of my nights to him, and everyone cheered, so it kind of lifted me a little bit. So I know people knew exactly what I was talking about. But regardless, you know, the first ever Godzilla, the first ever actual metaphor for the atomic age passed away this year, and he was
last year.
Yeah,
last year. Sorry.
He's still, you know, Godzilla's still my favorite.
Oh, he's the absolute favorite
in
monster.
cinema. He's my favorite character, my favorite hero. He's still my best friend, and you know, having him pass away was kind of, you know, that was a big punch. You know, so really quickly, James.
Yeah.
What are your two favorite original series Godzilla films?
Can I do a versus? Can I pick a versus film?
Well, I mean. You can't. I was purposely wanting you to say that, you know, Heisei, but okay, go ahead.
Well, first of all, my two favorite Godzilla movies is the absolute original Godzilla, the Japanese version, not the Jeff Burr American version, because the Japanese version is so damn bleak, and messed up.
Oh,
it
is.
Like, oh my lord.
That's the exact same reason why I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but. Alex, I don't give a fuck about that 1970s bullshit cut. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. For our friend
I do
Alex
not want to see that. To me, like, when I asked with Raymond Burr, I was like, well, I'm exiting this conversation.
Yeah, so
this
is for our fellow friend in Tennessee and indie filmmaker Alex Powers. He's made some crazy movies in the past.
Who's also an amazing actor.
Yes, he is. Who he sent us a rare Luigi Koji Italian recut of the first movie that's really trippy, and I watched it and I was like, what the fuck is this mess? It is a mess. And then Sterling completely skipped it. He was like, I'm not ruining the first Godzilla for me. You know?
Yeah.
But the first Godzilla, the Japanese version, and I love this better than the first Godzilla because of how wacky and stupid it is. You know me, Sterling. I fucking love Godzilla versus the Smog Monster.
Yes.
Specifically the AIP American cut.
Yeah.
The reason why is because all of a sudden it does a jump cut to like a weird animated sequence with bad animation, and then the characters are screaming, animals, animals.
Yeah.
And characters on a night club all of a sudden have fish heads, and Godzilla gets his ass kicked by Hedorah the Smog Monster like 3 separate times. And it's like, what the fuck?
It's really depressing and sad. Like, he can't win, but it's okay because we get a fantastic cut segment from Cosmos.
Yes,
in the middle of it.
They talk about space and like, is Hedorah a space monster? I thought he was a metaphor.
He's
for
not
pollution.
even. It has nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
It's literally just a documentary on like galaxies.
And it's like, but that's what makes Hedorah kind of more scary because it almost makes Hedorah almost Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, honestly, when I saw that as a kid, when Hedorah passes by a city spraying the stuff and all the people turn into skeletons, that actually kind of freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah.
It was actually like, ugh. So it's this nasty smog walking piece of shit looking thing.
Yeah.
Literally, he looks like diarrhea walking with 2 big eyeballs.
Yes.
Fighting Godzilla and spewing diarrhea slime all over him and burning the shit out of Godzilla. It was actually a freaky movie, but then it ends with Godzilla beating him by projecting himself using his own atomic breath.
Yes.
To like catch up Guys, check out the American AIP cut of Godzilla vs. Smog Monster. Either have a few beers or smoke a few blunts before watching it. Holy shit, it's a trip.
Smoke a few blunts.
Smoke a fair amount of marijuana.
Yes.
To all of our California listeners, you
Smoke
can now.
3 grams of weed.
Yeah,
liquid.
grams, ounces, ounces. Whatever.
Obviously, obviously, you haven't smoked blunts.
I have not, dude. I haven't smoked blunts
Those
in a
are
while.
like,
So you know what? Yeah, smoke an entire. If it's that size,
but
Sterling,
3 of them.
go for it. Go for it and watch.
Go on to the edge. The very edge
of how much a man can take.
munch coma.
Of munch coma.
Before you start watching this trash monster.
Before you watch a slime
Teach
trash
you
monster.
about space.
About space, yes. It is a trip, folks. Godzilla. I love Godzilla vs. Smog Monster.
The only trippier than seeing it high is seeing it not high.
Exactly.
Anyway, but no, totally. For mine, obviously the first original Godzilla as well.
The Japanese version, yeah.
But my second, by far, is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla.
Oh, of course.
Because this is, to me, when I was a kid, the general consensus for what Godzilla was in the 60s, 70s was Monster Zero. Because you have the basic format. Godzilla fighting some monsters, aliens are terrorizing and controlling the monster, the humans are trying to espionage the aliens out, but in the end, Godzilla ends up accidentally taking out the aliens. That's usually the format.
It sounds like a little bit of that recipe Guillermo del Toro stole for Pacific Rim.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was a tribute. He even tributed. He even tributed Shiro Honda in the end.
Okay.
But in a way, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla is like taking that pristine kind of format and turning it up a notch, because now you have aliens who are controlling a monster who's a robot but also an alien.
Yeah.
You have old mystic kung fu masters who know how to resurrect giant oni beasts who are the scariest thing in any movie ever made. And the best part is the aliens in this movie turn into gorillas when you kill them.
Yes, and then let's not forget, when their faces melt into like cough syrup, that freaked the fuck out of me as a kid. I was like, ugh,
But it's like their faces are melting, but it's like it's almost like Jun Fukuda was a huge fan of Planet of the Apes and had to put the apes in the movie, but they're disguised as smug dicks. And basically, then you have that amazing singing sequence to Wake Up King Caesar, who's still fucking scary.
Yes.
And like that's the one kaiju I would never want to fight. Because
Caesar?
Yeah, because his power
is a
freaky
face.
Yeah,
he really does.
Scary face, scary noise, ears that shoot up like horns. But to me, he has the scariest power ever. His power is to beat the shit out of you. Like, that's his power. I don't want him near me, let alone him literally tackling me like Michael Strahan. That's like that's not right. But so he ends up double teaming with Godzilla.
Nice.
That's a good fight.
It's a good fight.
But also it's one of the first I ever showed my friend, a friend of mine who hadn't seen any before. And I feel like I should have saved that one for later, because at the moment where you see him unloading all of his arsenal on both of those monsters,
really,
like constantly, like just shooting the
fingers,
he shoots the
rockets for like a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah,
pew, pew, pew,
it's
pew,
finger
pew,
and toe
pew,
rockets.
pew,
It's his chest Iron Man thing.
Yeah,
it's his eye beams, his fake atomic breath.
Yeah,
everything at once, constantly, literally for 2 minutes straight of just montaging. It looks like Wild Bunch.
Mechagodzilla's trying to overkill these two.
Yeah, and like my friend was just watching, at first being like, okay, let's do this then, to like watching that going, fuck, like this isn't fair. Like they can't even walk towards them.
Can you imagine? I want to see somebody do this. Can you imagine watching a sort of hybrid cut of Godzilla vs. Smog Monster with Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla while on LSD or shrooms
or 3 blunts
or 3 whole blunts? Can you imagine that? Just like,
no, they would probably be put away.
Yeah,
so there's much like,
because those seem like the two wackiest Godzilla.
The editors
movies.
Of the AIP cut should be put away now. But so I wanted to bring up him really quick just because he's a legend and he passed that year, and it was not as devastating in number, but it was definitely as devastating in
Godzilla fans
and profile.
Yeah,
just for horror in general, we lost 3 of the biggest horror people. In 16, we lost a lot of big horror people.
Yeah.
Combined, it's kind
With
of the same
musicians
thing.
and celebrities, yeah.
Yeah, but this one was just only a few, but they picked the best ones they could have possibly picked.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's you know, yeah. Sterling, did you want to move? So before, for our dear listeners and good horror fans, before we move on to our top 13 horror movies of 2017, remember, guys, we always do a top 13 and we don't do the whole top 10 thing. Before we do that, we should talk about the horror movies coming out in 2018 this year that we're looking forward to.
We should.
Yeah. Sterling, what are, I don't know, 2 or 3 horror movies you're looking forward to?
Well, mine are, some of mine are actually really, really indie.
Okay.
That I'm really looking forward to. So I'll start with my only really big one first.
Yeah.
Which obviously, we just got done talking about him. Is Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Oh, of course.
Because I'm excited to see what Legendary does with King Ghidorah and Rodan, and what versions of Mothra we'll see. Yeah, we don't really know anything yet.
Not to mention Michael Dougherty's doing it.
Yeah,
the man who gave us the best Halloween horror movie and the best Christmas horror movie, Trick or Treat and Krampus.
Yeah,
and he's tackling a kaiju movie of this magnitude.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
This is gonna be a fun movie. This will undo everyone's opinion of the first, which people thought it was boring. I liked it because it was the same format as most Godzilla movies. Lots of human, only a little monster. The only thing wrong with the first Godzilla movie is that it was too serious, when Godzilla shouldn't be that serious. It's a ridiculous idea. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
This movie, they will have fun with this because Dougherty doesn't know not how to have fun with something.
Oh, absolutely.
So I look very forward to it. That being said, I'm still very iffy about Wingard finishing this series.
You know what? I'm sorry. I know you love The Guest, and I love Your Next, but no offense to Wingard, but with Death Note and Blair Witch, I'm worried about Adam Wingard from this point on.
To me, he's done.
So you get a 2-strike law?
Basically.
Okay, because I have a 3-strike law.
No. I have a 50% strike law.
Okay.
You know, he's made 4 things and half of it's shit. So to me, it's just kind of like...
you forgot, what was that really boring movie he made? Something to Die Alone or something?
You're not helping.
Sorry. I'm not helping your case, Adam Wingard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but thanks. I'll add it to my list.
Okay.
And there we go. 3 strikes probably. But until then, he really has to pick this up because it's obvious now that he's really bad with IPs, because he literally took 2 IPs and directed
Blair Witch and Death Note.
Yeah. So now he's doing Godzilla and King Kong.
2 IPs in 1.
I have a bad feeling about this. # Star Wars quotes.
Ooh, I know.
So,
I know. But,
anyway, let's go on to some other stuff though. Yeah. Because King of the Monsters will be great. I know it. I just hope it won't be the last great one.
Yeah.
Next, I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite indie filmmakers, Phil Stevens, who is coming out with Flowers 2 this year, which I'm looking forward to. I don't know if you've ever heard of Flowers.
I've seen the cover for it on Amazon, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so Flowers is one of my favorite horror films of this decade, in the sense that it is a extremely artistic, 0 dialogue whorehouse movie. So basically, it's just a woman waking up in a disgusting dungeon of a bathroom. It's disgusting. The art design of these movies are insane. Just skeletons, feces, tons of just dead rats and mold everywhere. It's all black and white, so you really got to fill in the rest with your mind. And she's just trying to escape this house where every room that she enters, it's literally like a 1-story house. It's not even that big, but every room is locked. She has to get out. It's disgusting, and everything gets grosser. There's like rotten pigs on dinner plates,
so it's
and
pretty much a dialogue
cockroaches and maggots everywhere.
Oh my god!
And it's like a Texas Chainsaw House, but there's no actual chainsaws. It's just a really big, creepy, disgusting dude. It looks like if Wayne Knight in Jurassic Park put on an extra 80 pounds and ended up becoming a really, really professional cannibal.
Ooh.
So.
It sounds like an escape room turned into a movie, just way grosser.
Yeah, okay. Except the narrative is in her desperation. Okay. That's the dialogue, and awesome scene of nails going through feet.
Oh, okay.
It's great. He's making a sequel. He's sharing stuff on his Instagram of his set design. It looks just as good.
Okay.
And I'm looking very forward to this because I don't know how they're going to really continue this movie.
Okay.
Because it had a resolution, but I don't care because there were multiple dead survivors, quote unquote, found throughout the house. So he might be doing a different one story before they met their end or something.
Okay.
I'm not going to say how the first one meets its end.
Okay.
Because it could be good, it could be bad. But
so shout out to Phil Stevens.
Yeah, and then my third one is one that me and Miguel Rodriguez actually talked about this past year on a podcast episode. It is Whatever Happened to Elisa Lam, which I cannot wait.
You've told me about this one. The actual real life case of that woman with the video. Yeah.
Yes. The filmmakers who are both musicians and some of them write for antimedia.com. They are making this feature-length documentary on the Elisa Lam case, who of course is the woman who was found in the water tank at the Cecil Hotel.
This is real life. Yeah,
this is a real-life true crime documentary
really life
that was funded through Kickstarter. And you have a woman who is just one in many different cases within this hotel. Because this movie will also dig into the hotel itself, being the places where the copycat killer and Richard Ramirez lived. It's also where the Black Dahlia was last seen alive before she was found torn in half.
So it's this spot.
Yes. And this is just... But what's funny is that this one case has become the most mysterious one out of the entire lineage of the hotel. This hotel goes back to the 30s. And there's been a lot of cases, but this is the one where the cops in LA would literally said, "We give up. We can't solve this. We're done." They closed the case willingly knowing they couldn't solve it because there was no way for her to end up in that in that water tank. There was literally no way. She would have to phase through solid steel because the hole you use to get into it is smaller than a human body. She was naked. They could not find any trace of drugs in her system that would have made her need to do this. The getting to the roof, there's no access. You can't get to the roof.
Yeah.
There's 2 emergency exits. Each one sets off an alarm. No alarms ever went off. No one knows how she got on the roof. No one knows how she ended up dead. No one knows how, it is the most baffling cold case in LA history now. And the Black Dahlia was the most biggest cold case before this. The Black Dahlia has lost the top spot.
Yeah, wow. At that spot, though.
Yes.
That spot in LA.
Yes.
So there's something about that place in LA that just fucking creepy shit happens.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and this is a documentary?
Yeah, it's going to be a true crime documentary that hopefully we'll get it to play down in San Diego. All right. Once it's done. I look forward to it.
All right. Oof. You told me about that one. That was great. The 3 that I'm looking forward to for this year are actually 3 slasher films.
Cool.
This is just, for me, this might be the slasher year, 2018. A lot of people were very skeptic about this, but they just released an on-set photo today, this morning, on the set. They're shooting in North Carolina at the moment, and I saw this on-set photo, and I was like, okay, I have a little bit of hope for this. And the people behind the movie are not what you would expect. I'm looking forward to the next Halloween film.
Oh, sure.
The reason being is because when Blumhouse took it over from the horrid Weinsteins, I was like, thank God a different company has it, because the Weinsteins have never made a good Halloween movie.
No.
Ever.
No.
I mean, aspects of Part 6, but as I say, aspects of Part 6, not the whole movie.
Yeah.
And, but the thing is, and now the Blumhouse have it, but the weirdest thing is, Danny McBride wrote the script.
Yeah.
And the guy who directed Pineapple Express is directing it. And that's where I was a little iffy. But with John Carpenter saying he's in love with the idea, I was like, okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
And Nick Castle.
And Nick Castle.
Reprising Michael Myers.
Coming back as Michael Myers, I was like, whoa. You probably didn't see the onset photo this morning, Sterling, but there's this onset photo of, and if you look in the distance, you see Michael Myers walking.
Yeah.
And just that blurry image, he looks exactly the way he did in the very first film.
Awesome.
And the set is tree-lined suburban streets, fall leaves everywhere. I was like, okay, they at least, it looks like they have the right vision.
Yeah.
They have the right look and they have the right aesthetic. So I'm really looking forward to Halloween.
Yeah.
And hopefully, since they're shooting it, and the thing is, the reason why it makes me happy about it is they've tried to get, I think, 3 or 4 different Halloween films off the ground after Rob Zombie's shitfest Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And every single one of those films had a script, and they were about to shoot, and then a few weeks beforehand, they cut it out.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're actually shooting, they're filming, is like cause for joy.
Yeah.
Cause for joy. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, we talked about this last year, Sterling, but I'm looking forward to the Puppet Master remake.
Oh, for sure.
Littlest Reich. Because remember last year you were like, I hope they do a remake of Puppet Master. And then a month later, the news is like, they're making a remake of Puppet Master. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm totally for this because it really needs an update.
It needs an update. And you know what's funny, though? Charlie Band holds some of the rights, but the script, the filmmakers, everything is out of his hand.
Ha!
So it's like, and you know what? The storyline is crazy because it takes place at a toy convention.
Ha!
And the puppets attack everyone at the toy convention.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's pretty much like Peter Jackson made Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Dead Alive Puppet Master.
This sounds pretty good as long as David Dakota has nothing to do with it.
He has nothing to do with
Okay,
it. You know
good.
what's crazy?
What?
Guess who the scriptwriter is? The guy who wrote Bone Tomahawk.
Really?
The guy who wrote Bone Tomahawk.
You mean Craig Z?
The guy who wrote Bone Tomahawk and fucking Brawl in Cell Block 99.
This is going to be brutal.
He wrote the script for the fucking...
This is going to be extremely violent.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow. I'm looking forward to Puppet Master. I really am. And the third movie I'm looking forward to is a movie that I've been hearing about for 2 years now, and I've seen all of the director's short films with this specific clown character, and I am really looking forward to The Terrifier. That Dread Central Presents picked up, and they're finally going to put it out. Mm-hmm. I hear they might put it out in March, but that's just rumors I've heard.
Sure.
The reason why I'm really looking forward to The Terrifier is I've been a fan of Damien Leon's ever since his first Terrifier short film came out with his really, really creepy killer clown character, Art the Clown.
Yeah.
Have you seen the short film, Sterling?
No.
The short film's very brutal. It's very scary, and Art the Clown is an extremely mean-spirited killer clown.
Yeah.
So when I saw the short film, I loved it, and then when I heard you make it into a feature film, I was like, holy shit. Heard about that feature film in, like, I think mid-2016, and I was like, oh my god, when am I going to see it? And then this actress that I follow on Instagram that's in a lot of trauma movies, Catherine, I forget her name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Katie Corkin.
Katie Corkin, yeah. Basically, the drop-dead gorgeous blonde girl that's in a ton of trauma movies, she's in The Terrifier also.
Okay.
So she would constantly plug The Terrifier all the time on her Instagram, and I'm just like, when the fuck am I going to see this movie? So it played a bunch of festivals, and everybody's saying they loved it because it's like an amazingly fun, creepy, scary killer clown movie on Halloween. I'm like, oh, you had me sold. I'm like, So, and now finally Dread Central picked it up, and they're going to put it out, and I'm like, it's about fucking time. You ever hate it when a festival movie you hear of for 2 years finally sees the light of day, and you're like, about fucking time?
Yeah, you know, it happens a lot. Actually, I'm not going to talk about any of them right now, but that happened a lot this year. Where a lot of...
Last year.
God damn it.
I know it's still early in the year. We still think it's 2017.
But it's like a lot of that happened this year where it's like you're watching films that actually came out a few years ago in festivals, and it took this long for them to be publicly available. You know, but again, sometimes it's for the better. Sometimes they have to wait for a bigger release, and some of them are actually doing the right thing.
Yeah,
you know, so it's fine.
Yeah, luckily filmmakers are taking their time finding the right distributor.
Yeah,
instead of a distributor that puts their movie out really soon, but then they get fucked over royally.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, one more thing. I'm looking forward a little bit to The Strangers Come at Night, because they've been trying to make a damn Strangers sequel for 10 fucking years now.
Sure.
So, the only thing is the original script for The Strangers 2 I read, in the original script for Strangers 2, there's this really brutal scene where the main killer in a white mask.
Yeah.
This is a spoiler. I don't know if they're going to put this in the actual movie, but the killer in the white mask just goes to his car, takes out a chainsaw, walks into a trailer where they're having a bunch of teenagers are partying, and all you hear is the buzzsaw revving and all this screaming for like a solid 2 minutes, and then he just walks out carrying the chainsaw covered head to toe in blood, and just walks back to the car and drives away.
No.
And that's in the script, and they describe it in brutal detail that you just hear all that murder and death, and it's like, I don't know if they're going to put that in. That was the script from 10 years ago, folks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to make it into the movie. I hope so, but a part of me thinks maybe they're not ballsy enough.
Oh, sad.
I know. I hope I'm proved wrong, but we'll wait to see.
Yeah.
I'm happy Christina Hendricks is in it.
There we go.
I know. Like, oh, big tittied redhead, I'm for it. Yay. But anyways, yeah, my wife's not going to like that part. But anyways, so Sterling, that was the movies we're looking forward to for this year. Are we ready, folks? Are we ready for our top 13 horror movies of 2017?
I think we are completely ready. I have my list out. I don't know if you do have yours, James.
I have mine out, yeah.
All right.
It's like, we whipped them out, you know? Anyway, so I'm going to start this time?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Last time I started, guys, so James is going to kick us off.
Yeah, so my 13th favorite horror movie of 2017 was... This is a big shout out to filmmaker Mike Mendez. Mike Mendez's Don't Kill It, starring Dolph Lundgren. Now, yes, you could say that this movie was a little bit on the cheap side, but holy fucking shit was this movie a lot of fun. It's Dolph Lundgren being this badass, like, trench coat wearing demon hunter, and a demon that hops from body to body and kills people in gory ways. And I was surprised at how much fun death scenes are in this movie, and how many, like, groups of people are attacked by the demon at once.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of bodies are ran over, people are axed in the face, chainsaws and limbs going everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a really fun movie. And, you know what's funny, though, is there's the beginning scene, like, one of the first victims during the church massacre scene is Mike Mendez getting an axe to the face. And I ran into Mike Mendez at Monsterpalooza, and I was like, was that you getting an axe in the face? And he was like, oh, you have a good eye there. And I was like, yeah.
You look good now.
And I told him also thank you, because Dolph Lundgren gets, like, laid in, like, the first 10 minutes. And I was like, that never happens in a movie where the hero gets laid in the first 10 minutes. They get laid at the very end. And he was like, thank you for that, too. So it's a fun movie. If you want a cheesy, balls to the wall, gory movie.
You obviously forgot about The Room, by the way.
You know what? I knew
where the hero gets laid in the first 10 minutes, and then
true.
every consecutive 10 minutes
10
later.
minutes later, exactly.
Okay, wait.
Was Tommy Wiseau a hero in that movie? I don't know. That's
he makes himself the hero.
He makes himself the hero.
He's a martyr at the end.
He's a martyr at the end. Yes. Tearing me apart. Enough about Tommy Wiseau. That's
Forgive
a whole
me.
other. Forgive me, yeah. But don't.
It's a whole other kind of horror.
That was a whole nother, yes. But Mike Mendez's Don't Kill It is a hell of a lot of fun, and sadly, it was one that a lot of people missed last year.
I missed it.
You missed it, yeah.
It was almost played at the Digital Gym.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, there'll always be more chances.
It's a lot of fun, guys. I think Mike Mendez is a terrific filmmaker who all of his movies are incredibly fun. Like, he never wants to make a bleak, feel-bad movie. He always wants as much death and destruction and gore as he has in his movies.
Yeah.
He always want to make sure that you have a fun time watching his films.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mike Mendez's Don't Kill It. Check it out. Sterling, your 13th horror movie of 2017.
My 13th favorite horror movie of 2017 is probably the one movie that I was surprised by the most, because I decided to check it out on nothing more than, I would say, a whim.
A whim.
Yeah.
Whim.
And this came out, like, right at the end, too.
So this was like December.
December.
Oh, wow.
This was a very late one. But it came out, and I said, you know what? I'm going to check it out. I didn't even know it was a horror movie until I was about to rent it. So I just heard some friends at a festival who saw it, like, oh, it's not bad. You know, I was like, whatever. I saw it, and I thought, yeah, it wasn't bad, you know? This is obviously, you know, my least favorite of my favorites of the year. But, you know what? It's ballsy, and I like ballsy, and it's very timely. So, my 13th favorite is from Mr. Benjamin Arfman, and this is the film Dismissed, starring Zach from Zach and Cody. So...
What? I've never even heard of this.
Oh, yeah, this one got no representation. So
Jeez, I thought Don't Kill It didn't get any attention. Wow.
No, this one came out of nowhere. I didn't even hear about it at festivals until friends were talking about it. So,
wow.
This film is about a teacher who is he's a high school teacher who is teaching a group of seniors. He's happily married, has a little baby. His job is fun. He enjoys it. He's a good teacher who is very fair, and he gets a new student in class. This student is Zach.
From
Zack and Cody.
Zack and Cody.
Except
it's hard not to keep a straight face when you say Zack and Cody, But...
Especially considering he quit acting and now, there he is. But so he's Zach from Zack and Cody. But if you know what I'm talking about when I say this, he's more so like Cody than Zach in this movie. He's like a little pristine genius kid who is literally the smartest, most on point academic student ever. And the teacher loves him. He thinks he's awesome. He's actually answering questions. He's volunteering in class. He seems like a teacher's pet, but he's not. He's just really adamant about his education. And at one point, he turns in a book report that is literally a novel. It's like a novel. And when he eventually receives it back after being so pleased by the teacher to have such a dissertation, he gets a B for it. And this is what sets him off. So after that, he goes up to the teacher and says, "Excuse me, why do I have a B? Is there a certain thing I can do to improve? You put no notes on my grade. How am I supposed to actually improve for you?" Just getting very snappy. Yeah. And then he tells him well, here's one thing. He switches to a random page, tells him something that seems incorrect, and then this kid completely argues for his point well beyond the teacher's ability to comprehend it. And the teacher doesn't change his grade. He says, "My grade's final. I'm sorry, but look, you're a great student. You're still ahead in the class by a large margin." Yeah. But he can't take this. So he starts planning revenge against this teacher until he says, "Give me not a passing grade, but an A+. Otherwise, shit's gonna go down for you." So he starts doing everything from getting one of his 16-year-old students to think that the teacher's in love with her so that he can be caught on CCTV for sexual harassment and get fired. He starts telling things to the principal that are completely false to get him to get him banned from teaching for life. Yeah. He starts threatening his wife, her life. All these different terrorist acts against this guy's life for the fact that he is just a psychopath. And by the time he actually goes over to Zach's house, in which his dad is played by a Larry Fessenden lookalike.
Okay, but not Larry Fessenden.
Not Larry Fessenden. Surprisingly,
I would have wanted to see the movie more if it was Larry.
I wouldn't put it past him if he was in this too. Yeah. But basically, he ends up finding out that the dad is terrified of his son and can't speak out of turn. So this kid is literally like a non-demonic Damien, who is hell-bent on literally. I think he just wants to go to Harvard as like a valedictorian or something. Okay. But to get there, he'll do anything. And he plays this part really well. He's a great actor in this. He's actually kind of scary. You feel the weight because you have so many real life fears going against the teacher before it starts going into slasher territory. So
it does go into slasher territory?
It does. Okay. Briefly, but effectively. Okay. It's believable. Okay. It's not like all of a sudden he's an unkillable guy with a knife.
And a mask. It's like, what?
No. He is literally, he's just him. He's just unhinged to the point where he eventually gets to his boiling point of, I don't give a fuck if they catch me. Now I just want retribution. And the teacher has to do the same. Okay. So it's surprisingly good. It's not good enough to crack my top 10. Okay. But it's worth seeing for the sake that it didn't get seen.
Okay. I want to elaborate on it a little bit. Were you ever notice that last year there were 3 with The Dismissed and 2 other films? There were 3 films, a Christmas horror movie and another horror movie that took place in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about for those other 2. There were 3 horror movies that showed teenage boys to be fucking monsters. Yeah. And you know what's funny, though? Those 3 horror movies kind of say, okay, teenage boys are fucking monsters that will do unspeakably evil things all for a sense of selfishness. And that actually scared us. And then all of a sudden, January this year, oh no, they're not evil. They're just eating fucking Tide Pods.
Yes.
So it's like, you know what? To those 3 killer teenage boy movies, we got nothing to worry about. Yeah. We got nothing. They're eating Tide Pods.
We're good.
We're good. We're fine. Nothing to be scared of there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good choice. I will seek it out.
Okay.
My 12th horror movie of 2017 is a little boogeyman horror movie filmed by a Norwegian filmmaker in America that hardly anybody saw, called Child Eater.
Whoa.
You never saw
No.
The cover looks creepy as hell. Child Eater is basically a creepy boogeyman horror movie of a babysitter watching a kid who the kid's obsessed with this spot in the woods where something happened decades ago. And apparently there's this legend of this old, long-dead serial killer who took the eyes out of children to eat them and stuff.
Yeah.
And what happens, though, is it's very straightforward. The serial killer comes back as, like, this ghouly, crypt keeper-like thing that literally pops out of closets and takes children and he rips their eyeballs out and stuff.
Wow.
And it takes place in the fall. It's very creepy. It has this moment where the child eater thing comes out of the closet, like, slowly, like, face out of the darkness and everything, and it's like, ugh. And there's a scene where the thing even, like, kills a few cops, so it has that sense of nobody's safe. I think the reason why I like Child Eater so much was that the actual boogeyman looks creepy as fuck. There's many creepy scenes, and I know that it's very straightforward. There's hardly any dialogue in it, and it's one of those horror movies that if a kid watched this by himself on, like, a Saturday night, sorry. If a kid watched this on Saturday night by himself with all the lights off, he would have been scared shitless. And it kind of brought back those feelings, too.
Sure.
So, yeah, Child Eater is a fun, straightforward, creepy as hell boogeyman horror film.
Awesome.
That doesn't really explain a whole lot, but you know me, I like that. I like that when the horror isn't explained.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Child Eater, good stuff.
Awesome. Number 12. Going down. Now, my number 12 is the only exclusive to streaming film I have here on this whole list.
Shudder?
No.
No, it's not on Shudder. Okay.
No. No, my number 12 is going to Gerald's Game.
Okay.
Because...
That's your number 12?
Yes.
Okay, so you had some problems with this.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
My main problem is that this is a great movie directed by Mr. Flanagan up until the 1 hour and 20 minute mark. Then turn it off. Turn it the fuck off. You're done. And then, the ending of this movie is she crashes into a tree. The end.
Oh,
and then you turn it off, and then you're done. Yeah, so
let's try to avoid that many spoilers because it was a request by my wife this year that she was like, every single best of podcast you guys do, you always give a bunch of spoilers. And
that's not a spoiler because this whole movie is dealt with hallucinations, kind of like 127 hours. So there's a lot of dreams of her actually walking around in this movie. That's not a spoiler at all. That doesn't tell you shit. So if you haven't seen it or read the book, yeah, basically, I liked this movie. I liked how it's, this isn't a spoiler either, how basically, I wouldn't watch this movie if it was literally just her in a bed, looking around for like 2 hours.
Well, that's why the novel was considered unfilmable for so long.
Yeah, but I love what they did to make it an actual movie with dialogue.
You have to give Flanagan a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, for actually using hallucinative versions of her brain, basically, as talking points. So she's talking to herself and her obviously dead husband, very dead, as people ridiculing and also kind of egging her on towards some kind of salvation, or at least just trying to raise her spirits as she's in a really fucked spot.
Yeah.
So I liked it. It's extremely high quality. This is the kind of Netflix film I think works. This isn't a movie I would really care to see in a theater. Yeah. This is a movie I really loved seeing in my room, about a movie about a girl stuck in her room. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Netflix has to be picking the right things from now on, which is why I'm very, very iffy about the prospect that Dr. Sleep could be possibly a fucking Netflix movie. Anyway,
I know.
That's what I'm pissed about. It should be only theatrical. Hopefully it'll only be theatrical.
Hopefully.
But Flanagan
needs another damn theatrical movie.
Flanagan's Netflix contract is not over yet, so this could be a Netflix movie.
I know.
But anyway, other than that, this movie, it's fine. Again, this is a very spoiler-heavy movie. I can't say much. All I can say...
What do you think of that one moment in Gerald's game with the handcuffs? That's apparently the squirm moment of 2017.
I thought it was great. It was cool. I honestly didn't see that big of a deal, though. People are really overhyping that. It's like, if you've ever seen a 1980s like trash movie or something, you've seen way more gruesome shit. I really think that the Netflix audience for horror are basically novices who think that's really innovative. No, it's a gross scene. Cool. It's the only gross scene. Spoiler there. So they could have done a little better in that regard. But yeah. So you know what? Here's my last my last statement. Yeah, for the vast majority of this movie, fantastic movie by Flanagan. Until you get to the end credits, a mediocre movie made by Stephen King. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is a little bit of a jab. I apologize. So it's basically Mike Flanagan movie up until the last, you said 20 minutes or last 10 minutes.
Last 15.
Last 15 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes turn into a Mick Garris Stephen King film.
There you go.
Okay, a Mick Garris.
Which, by the way, everyone who's excited about Dr. Sleep, remember, it's a sequel to the Stephen King Mick Garris version, not to Kubrick.
Yeah.
We can't have nice things. Anyway, okay, so go ahead.
Anyway, so my 11th horror film of 2017 is a horror movie that people were looking forward to for over 2 years, and then it got a lot of hype. And when it finally came out, a lot of people were pissed off the movie, saying, yeah, the special effects were great, but it didn't have any characterization. And you know what? I agree with that. It had hardly any good characters or characterization in it. Almost like the 2010 Wolfman movie. Fun monster movie, no characters. This is the same thing. That's exactly how I felt about The Void.
Okay. Yeah.
So, The Void was a horror movie I've been looking forward to for 2 years straight, because the special effects artists for so many Astron 6 movies were making their own Lovecraftian monster film. So they showed a teaser trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks awesome. So the hype build and build and build. And finally, when I saw the movie, I was like, okay, it is extremely Lovecraftian. It's a little bit of John Carpenter in there with like Assault on Precinct 13. And at the end, it turns a little Hellraiser-ish. So I was like, okay, so it's Lovecraft meets John Carpenter meets a little bit of Clive Barker. And I thought, okay, it's a fun movie, but like, I didn't give a fuck about any of those characters whatsoever.
Sure.
So the stakes didn't feel that high. But after watching it a second time, I appreciate the aesthetic and the horror of it all. The characters still suck.
Yeah.
But dear God, the fact that it has that Lovecraft tone, like you don't know what the fuck is going on, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. There's some, I apologize, cosmic entity force causing these horrible, horrific monsters to attack, and these evil, creepy-looking cultists that are outside waiting for the people to come out to attack them too.
Yeah.
And plus, at the end, when, spoiler, sorry my wifey, but when one character's wife dies in a horrific way, and then it just lingers on her body, and then you have that main baddie talking over it. It was like, oh, this took a mean-spirited turn.
Sure.
It takes a mean-spirited turn, and then all of a sudden it takes a Hellraiser-like turn, and I was like, okay, this is cool. So, yeah, the characters are lackluster in The Void, but it's still a really fun movie, and it's still uneasy in that very Lovecraftian tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if you're a fan of Lovecraft horror, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, and even like Junji Ito horror makers, definitely check out The Void, but lower your expectations just a little.
Okay.
Yeah, The Void. Cool. Have you seen it, Sterling, or no?
I saw the premiere.
Oh, you
saw the world premiere at Beyond Fest.
And what were your thoughts on it?
Well, you know,
the characters suck.
I have a funny thing to tell you.
Okay.
My number 11 is The Void.
Okay. All right. So we have the exact same.
I'm not even kidding.
So you know what? We'll just lead into Sterling's number 11.
Yeah.
Both our 11s are the exact fucking same.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
So, The Void. I thought that this. Okay, so I saw this at Beyond Fest in the Shudder Side Theater, and it was a full house, which is not hard to do. It's a very small theater, but and there was half of Astron 6 was supposed to be there, and they just didn't show up.
Yeah, okay. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how I guess they didn't believe in that screening.
Okay.
But anyway, this was actually the LA premiere. This was the West Coast premiere.
Yeah.
And I love the effects. I love the tone of there's so many threats. Yeah. Which one is going to be the worst? There's monsters. There's cultists there, and my favorite, there's 2 fucking scary dudes with shotguns.
Yeah.
Who are gonna kill you. So it's like, who is scarier? Literally, the cult, the giant thing monster, or the 2 Jack Torrances.
Yeah.
You know? So you don't know what to be more afraid of.
And the thing is, they're stuck in a room with the 2 Jack Torrances.
Yeah.
The cult members, all with knives, are waiting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then in the other rooms of the hospitals, there's these creepy, nightmarish tentacle monsters. So
Yeah.
it's like, where the fuck do we go? You know?
So, you know, good movie, you know. I think I really love everything about the practical effects.
Yeah.
Just that shambler that gets up that from that pile of clothes or whatever is that made me kind of jump a little bit in my seat, even though it's not sudden. It's scary looking.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
Not to mention that scene where they're in the basement and all the mangled bodies get up and start going after them.
Yeah.
That moment for me was like, oh man. You know.
No, they get a huge bravo for what they did with effects. And you know, the idea and their Lovecraftian stuff, I've seen it done, of course, much better. It's nothing new. Even the ending, which I won't give away, is pretty much ripped off of many other films. But
Major Hellraiser vibe.
yeah, extremely.
Yeah.
So, in a way, they kind of owe a lot of their movie to tons of other movies. But this is a good one in itself. And it's definitely one I would see again, but only in like a group who hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It's nothing I would see because I really want to.
It's you could also say it's a popcorn monster film.
I would say that.
Yeah.
So
Popcorn Lovecraft.
yeah. So The Void. Enjoyed it, and it's one. I think it's this is like the only other movie that Knives from Scott Pilgrim's ever been in.
Pretty much.
What happened to her?
I
mean, I thought she was gonna have a career.
I just thought so too, but
Yeah.
you know, instead fucking Anna Kendrick got a career. What a travesty that was. But
Yeah.
anyways, so now we're up to our number 10. We're not going to talk shit on Anna Kendrick.
Is it Pitch Perfect 3?
No,
Oh,
that
okay.
should have been on there. I should have put Pitch Perfect 3 on
Okay.
there as being a pure fucking horror film. But you know what? Never mind.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. Yes, it was.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's.
I saw a part of the first one, and that's why I didn't see any others.
Oh, you actually saw a part of the first one?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It hurt.
How did that come to be?
There was a friend of mine was watching it on Netflix.
Okay.
And I stood in the doorway for a second, watching that, and
Oh man.
like watching them talk, it was like, this is kind of. I guess I get why people would. I guess the right people would get this, and then they started singing, and I left.
Okay.
So
Oh man. Anyway, back to good horror.
yeah,
And my number 10 for our number 10 best horror movie of 2017 was a sequel. It was the 7th sequel in an extremely popular horror franchise about a little doll, and that was Cult of Chucky. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Don Mancini's Curse of Chucky from 2013 was fucking phenomenal, and that was actually my favorite horror movie of 2013. Cult of Chucky bumps all the way up to number 10 on the list. So, yeah, I have some problems with Cult of Chucky, but I still had a fun time.
Yeah.
Cult of Chucky, I know my wife's actually watched this one for me, so I can spoil the fuck out of it. So, Cult of Chucky follows like a few years after the events of Curse of Chucky, and it follows the wheelchair-bound Mika, played from the beautiful Fiona Dorff that you said things about.
Yeah.
You said a number of things about. But anyways, so it follows her, and it also follows Andy Barclay, and it's played by the exact same actor who played the kid in the first 2 movies, as he's torturing the decapitated head of Chucky. So it follows that. But what I did like about Cult of Chucky was I liked the very white, moody, wintertime feel, but subtle wintertime feel and aesthetic it had. Don Mancini kind of took a little bit of that aesthetic feel of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Brian De Palma and mixed it together.
Yeah.
But made it into a Chucky film.
Yes.
And that what I did like about the movie, though, is that it does a little bit of fan service, bringing back Andy Barclay in a major role, and it kind of brings a little bit more of the previous films together, but it does something new. It does something really new with the Chucky films, and that was Chucky gains a terrifying new power, which, stop me if you agree with me here, Sterling, but Chucky is pretty much unkillable at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that power he has that he learned, that new voodoo trick he learned, he's pretty much unkillable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I liked the fact that there were, sorry guys, spoiler, there were multiple Chuckies all having dialogue, but what I loved about it most was that the dialogue between the multiple Chuckies were funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Me and my wife were laughing at it. It was all like, I got buried alive. You got to suck titty today. Look at my fucking hair. Look what happened to my hair. All right, yeah, you got it worse. Dude, I love that line. But also, it's probably the goriest out of the Chucky films.
I think so.
Yeah, like the death scenes in it are really like, whoa. Yeah. It's, I mean, like the hot guts spilling out, the drill to the back of the head with the eyeballs sticking out. I was like, damn. Donovan City really wanted to push the gore in this one.
Yeah.
So my only qualms with Curl of Chucky was the very end when Chucky does something he's never done before. And he's done something that he's been trying to do since the very first movie. And it was like, whoa, he actually did it this time.
Yeah.
That was kind of a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So
I actually wasn't a fan of that.
You know, a lot of fans aren't a fan of that. They were like, you know, it's like when Michael Myers finally killed Jamie, or finally killed Laurie in Halloween Resurrection. It's like, don't let Ahab finally kill Moby Dick. Let that.
Where do we go from here?
Where do we go from there?
Now it literally is nothing but a meaningless slasher franchise.
Now, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about if he makes an 8th movie, is it going to be a half Chucky movie, half a remake of Natural Born Killers?
Basically.
You know, that's what I'm worried about. But, you know, let's see what happens if there is another film made. Cold of Chucky is a actually fun, really gory, and kind of really new and nifty Chucky film that the only qualm you might have is that very last ending. But other than that, solid Chucky film.
Yeah.
Solid Chucky film. So, Sterling, your 10th horror film of 2017.
My 10th horror film of 2017. So, do I want to do this? Do I really want to do this?
Go for it.
All right. Well, only because you asked for it.
Go for it. You know.
All right. World of the internet and all horror fans ever. You have every right to hate me after this.
Oh, I know what's coming.
My 10th favorite film.
Oh, I know what's coming.
Okay, so everyone was apparently excited about this remake, except for me.
I know where this is going.
Okay,
and Sterling, you're gonna hate me when I
but,
get to that movie.
But so here we go. The one movie that was guaranteed to no way, shape, or form be worse than its original. So, okay, it is a movie that is a remake of the worst movie ever made. The shittiest film ever created.
It was the shittiest TV horror movie.
Which then was re-edited into a theatrical movie cut.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that one.
Oh, you're talking about that one. Okay.
And this is a movie that is, in my opinion, a really, really bad horror movie, but a really, really good adventure coming-of-age film. So this is basically like if The Goonies wasn't a piece of shit. This is if...
You know what? I'll go on record to say I agree with you. The Goonies is an overrated piece of shit.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's a big...
It's choppy as fuck.
The guy on my shirt was completely ripped off for that movie.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a big Toxie ripoff. But, no, it is a movie that features probably some of the best acting from the entire cast out of any movie released this year. Definitely 10 times better than the shitty acting found in 3 Billboards. Yeah. And this is a movie that deserves to be seen for the sake of it being hilariously better than its original. Mm-hmm. Because the original had nowhere else to go but lower.
It's eons better than the original.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit, I do think that it is one of the worst horror films ever made. The original. I do think that. But... literally, it is the most overrated horror film ever made. I've never understood why people think it's good. You know it's bad. It's a bad movie with a not scary villain. A really funny villain that you enjoy seeing on screen much more than the really boring adults, the shitty kid acting,
and the horrible movie aesthetic.
It is a god-awful movie. People liked it because it was the only clown they could watch in a horror film. Mm-hmm. Like, that was it at the time. Mm-hmm. Get it? It. Yeah. But then you watch this, and for many reasons, I think this is a huge improvement. Because we have fantastic children acting, we have great vulgarity, we have, some ballsy writing, we have some more additions from the book that they left out in the original. Mm. But also, my favorite thing is that they separated the really boring from the not boring, which makes me worry about the second one. But mainly, we have the kid storyline only in Succession, mm-hmm. which is all the stuff I really liked in the TV movie. So it's basically like greatest hits, but good, you know. And yeah, they included everything that I wanted to see really from that, and they excluded everything that you should never put in a fucking movie. Yeah. And
well, obviously, there's parts of the book that's like no.
Yeah, stuff that makes me think, how is Stephen King not the next Weinstein? Anyway, but basically, yeah, I did enjoy this movie, not for the reasons everyone else did. I think it's a bad horror movie, just because it's very generic and there's nothing new it brings to the table. But what it does do is it brings this coming of age aesthetic to the screen in ways better seen never since, you know, Stand By Me. It's really well done. I loved that aesthetic, and hopefully this will be the last time we have to like waddle through this 80s nostalgia phase, because I'm really sick of it.
Oh, I think it's gonna keep going.
It's
Stranger Things and it. Ooh,
it's like one thing for me because I never liked 80s movies like that. So this is hell for me. Like everything is literally E.T. I hate E.T. You know, so it's just annoying. But
I'm a bit mixed with that because I loved Monster Squad and I love Kids versus the Monster movies. Yeah. So Stranger Things and it are right up my alley. But the thing is, I hate the fact that both of those movies is like, hey guys, we got to get on our bikes and ride. I'm like, what's up with the fucking E.T. aesthetic with these Kids versus the Monster movies in the 80s? Yeah. You know? It's like, you want to do a Kids versus the Monster movies, I'm all on board. Yeah. But do we have to have the fucking E.T. aesthetic every single time? Come on.
It's basically what we have to have. Spielberg has ruined everything. But I know. But yeah, so yeah, okay, let's go to the elephant in the room. Pennywise, who did it better? My answer is, who gives a fuck? Okay, so basically it's
you're going to hate me in the next hour.
Because to me it's like, clowns are still not scary. I think it's still a really stupid cop-out for a horror aspect. I think this... I like how he does a perfect... like, Mad Hatter impression from Disney's Alice in Wonderland as the voice, which is literally what I think he drew all of his inspiration from. But at the same time, I think that, you know, the kid's story is great. And the reason why I consider this a horror movie in general is because everything outside of Pennywise is what's scary about this movie. The bullies in this movie is what's actually scary.
Though, you know what's I found a little scarier than Pennywise, even though, you know what, Sterling, you know me and my clowns, I love my killer clowns. I actually found the adults of Derry the scariest. Okay. The fact that they know about this thing and they're not doing shit about it and it's killing their children. Yeah. Not to mention Mr. fucking pedophile pharmacist. It was like, ugh, what the fuck, this whole town.
And you look like Lois Lane.
I know. It's like, this whole fucking town is like, deserves Pennywise. Yeah. Dear God, you know.
But yeah, you know, I see these bullies trying to carve people's names into their stomachs every day after school. And I'm like, why are people afraid of this clown?
When, you know,
why are people afraid of any kind of nightmare logic here?
Have you seen the deleted scene with what the bully does?
No.
There's a deleted scene where after he kills his father, it cuts to him in his car about to look at the Losers Club go in to save Bev, and he's covered in blood, and he's like, do you think we should go in, boys? And he looks over, and the two other bullies are in the car with their throats slit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, Henry Bowers, real monster of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot I like about this movie as a movie. Not really as a horror movie, but I have to count it as a horror movie, even though it's done nothing to innovate the genre. Only thing it's really done to innovate the genre is to reinvigorate its place in Hollywood, and the fact that it's the second highest grossing movie of the year. So that if it weren't for fucking Rian Johnson, we would have had a horror movie be the highest grossing movie of 2017.
Still, it's
thanks Star Wars, thanks Disney. It outgrossed Marvel movies. I mean, come on. You know, so
I know you're a Marvel fan, Sterling, but I'm fucking tired of Marvel movies.
No, I'm actually I am actually starting to call for the death of DC, Marvel, and Star Wars, because I see no difference between either three anymore.
Not to mention, it's like the fan base is just getting worse and worse.
Well, they're getting very, very serious about their bullshit. Yeah. So I'm over it. I'm still gonna see Avengers because I need to complete what I started
in 2012, but still.
But that's but that's the only thing. That's the only reason why I'm really excited to see it. It's because I can almost be done. You know what I mean? Yeah. So needless to say, very, very well made movie with even better acting, and everything was great except for the kids floating like an anime. So that's about it.
Okay, you're gonna hate me when I get to my it, but still, spoiler, yeah, it is in my list. So you're gonna fucking hate me, Sterling. But
sure.
Until
I'll be here to talk you down.
I know. Just like 2 years ago with fucking the Nightmare documentary, where you talked me down on that one. But other than that,
no, it's good to sleep too.
Har. What's funny is my wife took your side on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks, babe. Anyways,
yeah, thanks.
Anyways, we're on number 9, right? Okay.
Yes.
My number 9 horror movie of the year is what I call the M. Night Shyamalan rebound movie, Split.
Okay.
Split is the movie about James McAvoy, who fucking kills it in this movie.
Yeah.
And says, yeah, I can be a good actor with a lot of different roles in one role.
Mm-hmm.
Split is about a movie Split is about a movie. Split is James McAvoy as a guy with multiple personalities who kidnaps 3 girls to try to torture. One of the girls played really well by Anya Taylor-Joy from The Witch, or The Witch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the reason why Split was so good was that Shyamalan doesn't do something really fucking stupid near the end. Mm-hmm. Not too stupid, like The Happening, or like anything else he's done, with the exception of Signs. He doesn't do anything too stupid. He focuses on the characters, and just the characters. And what the thing is, he really brings you into that setting of that whatever underground layer he brings the girls to. You feel like you're there, and you feel like you're stuck there. Mm-hmm. But the main strength of the film is not really Shyamalan, it's James McAvoy. James McAvoy kills it in this movie with all the different roles he plays and all the different personalities. It's pretty much James McAvoy's star shows. But the thing is, I actually cared very much for Anya Taylor-Joy's character and felt that there was real peril. Yeah. Honestly, for a little bit throughout the movie, I didn't think he was actually going to, spoiler, do anything about the other 2 girls. But he does do stuff about the other 2 girls. And that's when I was like, oh shit, things just got really serious here. So, and plus the little scene where he's doing the dance mode was like, it's so off the wall. And I was just like, okay, I have to commemorate this movie. And it's like, is Shyamalan finally getting his groove back? Would you agree with me on Split?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
You didn't see Split?
I have never seen Unbreakable.
Okay.
So I can't see this movie.
Okay, spoiler, at the very end of this movie, of Split, it turns into a fucking Marvel ending where a character from Unbreakable shows up, and I was just like, come on, Shyamalan, you're trying to do the whole Marvel shared universe
That's
thing.
why I didn't want to see this, because I'm over Marvel, I'm over Star Wars.
Watch up until the last 5 minutes.
And
last 5 minutes, then cut it out. Just cut it out. Last 5 minutes for Split. But yeah, Split, big surprise. Big surprise. Sterling, your number 9.
My number 9. My number 9 is I'm not going to try to pronounce this guy's name at all, because that's pointless. But it's Killing of a Sacred Deer. So,
yes. I did not see this one.
I did.
Okay.
Spoiler. Anyway, so basically, So I was looking forward to this movie because I love Dogtooth. Mm-hmm. I think Lobster's overrated. Mm-hmm. So I was glad to see him going back to horror. So
he did Lobster and he did Dogtooth. So this movie is extremely depressing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This is the bleakest movie he's probably made.
Oh wow.
Only because to me Dogtooth isn't bleak. That movie is more so panic-filled.
Okay.
While The Lobster is more, you're kind of lost in your own thoughts. You don't really know what should be taken seriously.
Yeah.
This movie is just no hope. So what makes this movie scary is that this seems to be like a regular drama at first about Colin Farrell as, a Scottish doctor in America, obviously. And he's taken this kid under his wing, you think, to like train him to be a doctor in that field. And he has a happy family, married to Nicole Kidman, has a daughter, has a younger son. And this kid is kind of like his pride and joy at the moment because he's a prodigy who might really be able to rise up in the field. And but what's scary is how everyone talks in this movie.
I've heard the dialogue is weird.
Terrifying. Oh, yeah, the dialogue in this movie, for a pretty close representation, is, let's say, Colin Farrell and this kid are talking, and the dialogue goes kind of like the kid talking to him saying, I'm really happy that you're taking me under your wing to be a doctor. Being a doctor is what I always have wanted to be since I was 8. I haven't told my dad about that, though, because he used to beat me, and think that I should be something else, like he wants to be in his image, but I don't really want to do that. So I'm really happy. Sometimes I think I may be even attracted to you, but I shouldn't really. I didn't want to talk about that until I felt more comfortable around you. And then Colin Farrell retorts with, "Well, I'm very happy that you're being honest with me, even though it's a little bit unsettling and I'm a little uncomfortable at the moment. However, I'm going to get beyond that and past it. So until then, let's get some food."
Oh, this is going to take a dark turn.
Yeah, so it's very...
Oh, I can tell this is going to take a very dark turn.
Imagine a movie where every single human being in the world has Asperger's, and they're just literally just saying what's literally on their mind with no filter, but this is normal. That's terrifying. So they're at, like, you know, the first half of the movie, you literally get pedophile vibes from Colin Farrell.
Oh.
But it's not till, like, you know, close to the third act that you realize, oh, that was never even a threat. This movie is just full of weird quirk, and this is normal.
So you're saying that the horror comes from the almost quirkiness of it all.
Yeah, because it's so off. Everything's off.
So it feels almost Lynchian.
Yeah. No.
Filmmaker David Lynch. If you've seen David Lynch movies.
This is a very early Lynch movie in a way.
Okay.
In which even the kids talking to each other is like, you know, I've never kissed a girl. I want to kiss you right now, but that wouldn't be right. I'm just going to sit here. You know? Or talking to Colin Farrell about, I really can't wait till I have a hairy chest. You have a hairy chest, which is why I really respect you. You're a true man. May I see your chest? And then he like unbuttons his shirt and shows him his chest.
What the fuck?
Thank you so much. That's all I wanted. You can unbutton. I don't want you to get in trouble or anyone to see you doing this and thinking that there's something else going on, which there's not. You know, like it's so.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like every Wes Anderson movie where there's a peculiar child, but every character is that peculiar child.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
They're all reading notes. Yeah. But now
where does like the real oh shit come into?
It's scary. This is like a nightmare once it starts. So basically, Colin Farrell eventually tells the kid, "Look, I can't see you anymore. I can't really hang out with you anymore. People are getting weird ideas. My wife even. And, you know, I got to focus on my family. I'm sorry." The kid doesn't take that very well. And it's not explained how he has this ability. But basically, he then tells Colin Farrell, like, "Okay, I just want you to know that pretty soon your family is going to fall ill. They're going to become paralyzed. And then they will start bleeding from their eyes.
Oh, shit.
And once they bleed from their eyes, you just know it'll be only a matter of time before they will die." And then basically...
How young is this kid?
He, like 15.
So this is another damn evil teenage boy movie.
Yeah.
So this is the fourth evil teenage boy movie. What is it with 2017 and evil teenage boys?
You would think it would be evil 70-year-old presidents.
No.
You know?
Fuck.
But no, this is... Yeah, so that's kind of the new problem he's in. But it's okay, because the kid tells him how to undo the curse, I guess you can call it. I don't know. It's not really a curse, it's just, it's happening. Uh-huh. And you see them all start falling ill. Uh-huh. He says, and this isn't really a spoiler, because I'm not going to say anything else after this. Yeah. He says, there is a way to stop this from happening. And that's that, you know, if they die from this illness, they are dying, you know, naturally through just how it's working. But if you want to stop it, one of them, I don't care who, one of them will have to die unnaturally. And so basically...
Hence the title, Killing of a Sacred Deer.
But then he tells Colin Farrell then knows, you will never fall ill with this. It's all up to you. So basically, it now turns into the scariest idea of like the Family Man aesthetic, where it's kind of like, I can save most of my family, you know. So, but
so it turned into a fucked up like Asperger's curse movie version of Sophie's Choice.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a really good movie. It's my second favorite by him. Dogtooth is my favorite, and definitely it was one that was worth seeing. It took me so long; I had to wait for VOD for it though. Okay. Because no one played it close enough to me. I did not want to drive all the way to San Diego.
I thought it played at the Beyond Fest.
Yeah, but it sold out the first day it went on sale.
I heard Beyond Fest last year was like tickets sold out in minutes. It was
Beyond
crazy.
Fest is like Comic-Con now. You have to buy them the same night they go on sale.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Or the next morning, Arnold, all Suspiria's, and Killing of a Sacred Deer are all sold out.
That's the same thing with the damn new Bev now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tarantino really did that.
Yeah, Tarantino. Anyway. So, Killing of a Sacred Deer, I am definitely going to check that out. My number 8 horror film of 2017, folks, is I'm going to lead with another killer teenage boy film, and that is Super Dark Times.
Okay.
Have you seen Super Dark Times?
I did.
Okay. Super Dark Times, what I like about Super Dark Times, though, is you know how we're kind of tired of the whole, hey, it's kids in the 80s thing? This was kids in 1997. So this was like, oh, shit. They're like 10 years older than us when how old we were in 1997.
Yeah.
So... And, you know, I'll honestly, Super Dark Times captures that 1997 East Coast aesthetic pretty decently. Not completely, but pretty decently. Super Dark Times plays itself off mostly like the movies Mean Creek or River's Edge, where the teenagers accidentally kill one of their friends and they have to hide the body, and they're coping with the secret.
Yeah.
In this case, they accidentally play around with a samurai sword, and one friend accidentally kills the other with the samurai sword.
Kind of accidentally.
Kinda, quote, accidentally.
Yeah.
They hide the body, and the guild starts killing to them left and right, except one of the actual teenage boy who accidentally killed the kid, he's nowhere to be seen. He's become a recluse. And so our main character starts becoming more worried about him. And this is where the movie kind of deviates from the River's Edge Mean Creek variation, was that he's worried that the friend who accidentally killed the other one has developed a taste for blood and might be turning into a fucking serial killer. At the very end, that stuff does happen, and it kind of takes a turn for the worst. And what the thing is, when the movie does take that turn for the worst, I was on the edge of my seat. That tension was almost palpable. And then when it finally gets to that final confrontation, it's like, holy shit, it was very tension-filled, and I was legitimately worried right there.
Yeah.
But the film captures a very... It's not a bullshit coming of age aesthetic. It's more of like a dark coming of age aesthetic where it's like they wanted to be men, but they ended up turning into men in the worst possible ways. And that's actually more horrifying to me than the serial killer stuff. It's like, growing up, we wanted to be the big tough guy, we wanted to do this, and we wanted to get laid and all that stuff, but we knew it wasn't gonna turn out exactly the way we wanted. For those kids in that movie, it turned out really... They became men, but in a really dark, fucked up way. They were pretty much shoved and forced into being men. And that's horrifying. That's really more horrifying to me. That's why Super Dark... My only complaint about Super Dark Times, though, is at the very end, it focuses on one of the girlfriend characters for like the last 5 minutes, and you're like, why? And then it ends, and you're like, okay. But other than that, honestly, I think out of all the killer teenage boy movies last year, that one was, I think, my most favorite because it felt the most down to earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Super Dark Times. It sounds more like a thriller than a horror movie, but believe me, guys, watch it. It's a horror movie, or you can call it a horror friendly. Yeah.
There's one thing I want to say about it.
Yeah.
Never, like, when it comes to these Mean Creek type movies, where, you know, there's that one accidental killing.
Yeah.
Never have I wanted that person to die more.
He is an annoying
in this
fuck.
movie.
He's pretty much a Cartman.
He's a Cartman. Literally, he was ruining the whole movie for me until I eventually realized, okay, this is Stand By Me type movie. He's the one who's
gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was extremely happy. The whole rest of the movie, I was fine with it. Okay. I could not stand him being on screen. His mannerisms, his face, his voice.
So when he actually does get killed, were you like, yeah?
I paused the movie when I was watching it and clapped. I was clapping when he died. He is a piece of shit.
So you're not worried about the character who might turn into a serial killer. You're actually just happy the annoying fat kid gets it.
I could have turned the movie off there after they bury him, and just put credits. Just fan edit the credits. You know,
so you're gonna do the Sterling Anno cut of Super Dark Times.
In all honesty, I really didn't like the ending of this movie at all.
Like how it's resolved, or the last 5 minutes where it focuses on
No, I hated the third act of this movie. It falls apart.
Okay.
The third act of this movie is widely considered a horrible misstep for the whole film.
How would you have wanted the movie to end?
I want it just to stay a crazy, really, really scary paranoia drama where now they're turning against each other only to the extent, instead of one of them turning into a slasher, that's fucking stupid. It ruins the movie. It's not believable at all. I disagree. Okay. It's very much, we just wanted to make a slasher movie too, so we flipped a coin, and one producer got to make the coming of age, and I got to make the slasher movie. You know, that's what it felt like to me. It was forced. You know, it should have stayed a really scary paranormal drama, paranoia, where literally he is just killing those who might expose him, but instead it comes off as him just wanting to kill those who he knows he has a chance to. And it just feels miscast. It feels underdeveloped. And
so for you, Super Dark Times is a missed opportunity.
Very much so, because I really liked it up until the third act starts, because then the paranoia turns into Haddonfield Jr.
Okay.
And it shouldn't feel like that. But good movie. I love the fat kid dying. I can watch that on repeat. I'm probably going to make that my background on my phone. So, yeah, see it for the sake of, you know, the worst Cartman ever dying.
Okay. Also, see it for the sake of, if you want to watch a horror movie that actually takes place in the 90s instead of the billionth horror movie that takes place in the 80s, watch that one too. Yeah. Watch Super Dark Times.
By the way, I wanted to say also that before any of that starts, all of the main characters besides the fat kid are very likable.
They are.
And I think they're all great characters.
When they're arguing about Silver Surfer or Punisher, I was like, oh yeah, that's good.
No, totally. I used to do that, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, are we on 8? We're on 8.
We are on.
We're on 8.
Wait.
That was your 8.
Yeah, it was my 8. Okay. So we were on your 8th.
Okay. My number 8 is. This is a movie I actually ended up seeing at the LA Film Festival. And it luckily came out in VOD like a month later. So this was like a really late screening.
Okay.
So this one goes to It Stains the Sands Red.
Okay, you know how usually the aesthetic is, I like it, you hate it?
Yeah.
We're going to flip this one.
Sure.
Okay.
So, with me, I liked this because, I enjoyed it, right? Then, I got to interview Colin Minahan.
Okay.
And talk to him about him making this.
Yeah.
And why he made it, and his love for why he knows the Ramiro estate. Loved the idea of this movie. Gave it the seal of approval. So it's officially considered a good zombie movie by the estate that created them. Okay. So those who argue that, you're fucked. So now, moving on. So, I love the idea of a dumbass debutante just having to walk faster than one zombie the whole movie. The threat is just one little zombie trying to get to her. Trying to do what it does to the extent where you have the worst survivalist ever just trying to fend for herself, but then revealing its true purpose of this movie being a message on the disconnect that we have as human beings. So a lot of people are seeing this movie as a zombie movie. It's not a zombie movie at all. This is just a movie about the true themes of loneliness and the true themes of not being able to connect with another human being. Having to drop your guard in order to do so, which is what the main character in this movie actually does at some point. And then shows that, you're trying to kill me, but you're also probably my best friend in the whole world. And that's a really scary thought to have. A lot of people will deal with that every day. With, like, your best friend could still be, not really a friend. They're just your weed dealer or some shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is, that's what really made me like this movie. That it reveals itself to be more so kind of just a look into just how fake people can be. And then once the guard is completely vanished, you are vulnerable and you need what kind of connection that you can ever possibly get. It's kind of, to me, this is the version of Castaway I always wanted. And Wilson, instead, in this case, is Small Dick, the zombie. And, this, I thought this was the first original zombie movie I've seen in probably 5 years, mainly because I wouldn't even call Train to Busan original. I just call that the best of this decade. So, yeah, I have to give praise where it's due, and praise is due where it's, okay, I haven't seen this before, and this genre is done to death, which even Colin said to me and believes. We're done here. I had to do this because, look, this is a message I wanted to get out. This is the best way I could do it. So that's just my piece.
I wanted to like It Stands Red.
Yeah.
My problem with the movie was the first half. I did not like the main character whatsoever. She does everything in her power to be the dumbest, like, oh, why aren't we going here? Why aren't we going there?
Yeah.
Like, annoying blonde girl you can possibly think. And the zombie, I was like, I didn't particularly care for the zombie that much, too. And I felt a little, if the first half of the movie for me felt like a chore. All of a sudden, the second half, when you're revealing, oh, she's not annoying, she's doing this because she cares about someone very close to her.
Yeah.
And she's actually treated that person close to her like shit.
Yeah.
And she wants that redemption. That movie, then, for me, that movie took a left turn.
Yes.
That's when it took the left turn. And then when it dives into... When one of the other characters goes away, I actually felt sad for it.
Yeah.
And then when the movie goes back to her just trying to survive the multiple zombies and the human beings, that's when I was like, oh shit, I actually want her to make it to that person she actually cares about.
Yeah.
When she makes it to the person she actually cares about, and then she has to defend that person against a horde of zombies bursting through, and then it ends, I was like, okay, now this movie took a left turn.
Yeah.
So for me, It Stands Red is a mixed bag.
Okay.
It's like, don't like the first half, love the second half.
Sure.
You know, so...
Yeah.
When the character makes a complete... When that character arc happens...
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, now I'm on board.
Sure.
Now I'm there. But I'm happy, though, that the movie didn't... The movie wasn't all, I have to get to that person I love, because then I'll be like, bitch, this is just another episode of Walking Dead with less talking. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag for me. But I
Sure.
can see where you're coming from for It Stands Red.
Yeah.
And Lord knows we need more original zombie films.
We do.
Holy shit, yeah. Do you think that The Walking Dead ruined the zombie genre, or do you think it was the multitude of bad indie zombie films?
You know, I'm gonna be really controversial saying this, but there had to have been a catalyst that set it in the wrong direction from the start.
Yeah.
And I blame Shaun of the Dead.
Really?
Yes, I blame Shaun of the Dead for making people realize they can make the zombie movie genre into a joke. And they could technically do whatever they want with zombies, and people will eat it up.
So you blame Edgar Wright for turning zombies into Play-Doh?
I'm not saying I don't like that movie. I'm saying that
it's terrific.
He is to blame for making it so accessible to people who don't know shit about zombies either. He knows a lot, but he did something original for the time. Now you can't say it anymore because everyone else kind of took that lead from him. And, you know, now you have Walking Dead and stuff, adding like random Spielberg humor at times with too much drama.
Yeah.
And then you have other zombie movies like World War Z showing all it takes is, you know, $1 billion budget, and you can make a lot of ants look like zombies. You know, so it's
it's. If ever somebody talks to me about, oh, what's the next short film you're going to do, James? And if they even suggest jump scare ghost movie or zombie comedy, I'm like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If they say slasher movie, I'll be like, slasher movie, but with not college kid victims. Everything other than that. Okay?
Yes. So, yeah, that's...
It Stands Red. You know, I'm mixed about it, but I can see your point, but I have my points too.
Yeah.
So it's not a complete, you know, so... All right, so we're up to 7?
Yeah.
We're up to 7.
Lucky.
So, number 7, my 7th horror film for 2017 is a movie that has been a bit of a mixed bag on the indie circuit, but I liked Devil's Candy.
Okay, yeah.
I liked Devil's Candy. It was unflinching. It was actually far more uncomfortable for me than other horror films.
Yeah.
The reason being is because I don't want to talk about the plot for Devil's Candy. Just a really likable family of metalheads, and the father is a painter. They move into a Texas country house, and there's some entity in that house speaking to the father to paint these really gruesome demonic paintings. And there is a mentally handicapped psychotic big guy who's out to kill that family man's daughter. And to me, the whole entity around the house thing, that didn't scare me. I would love if a fucking entity was telling me to create awesome art. I would be like, fucking it's that man. That main villain of the movie scared the shit out of me because that man is so goddamn realistic.
Yeah.
He's so mentally unhinged and he can do horrible things, but he'll defend it because he's so fucked in the head.
Yeah.
That was terrifying to me.
Yeah.
And plus, near the end when you think he's about to kill a family member and it does that slow-mo, it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And then, of course, something else happens, but it's heart-wrenching. And the thing is, whereas you said that there was a family man aesthetic where the family man has to choose who's going to live and who's going to die, this was a family man aesthetic where the family man says, fuck it, I'm going to get stronger to defend my family.
Yeah.
Instead of having to make a shitty choice, I'm going to beat this guy's ass. And it's like, it was a very... The ending is heart-wrenching, especially that last attack on the family is like, holy shit, this guy's way more dangerous than any of us thought.
Yeah.
That last attack on the family is palpable, it's tension-filled, it's heart-wrenching, but holy shit.
But also it's kind of badass.
It's badass,
too. When they really go back to their metal roots a little bit.
When they go, yes, at the very end, when the father goes back to his metal roots, that's his triumphant moment at the end.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, the movie also shows the struggle of an artist. It shows the struggle of when you're trying to be a family man, but you're also struggling trying to make art at the same time. That movie, that part also scared me.
Yeah.
I'm married, and hopefully in the future my wife and I are going to start a family, but I'm worried, how am I going to balance my family with my art? So that was also scary. So this movie spoke to me on many different levels. Also, I compared that movie to The Shining because you have an entity, an unseen entity speaking to the father of a family, and there's a lot of really creepy wide shots. So I was like, oh, that's very similar to Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining.
Yeah.
Except this time the family man is not the psychopath. It's the previous person of that house that's the psychopath.
Yes.
So yeah, Devil's Candy, solid horror movie, and it kind of celebrates metal. What I love about it is a lot of 80s horror movies, metal was the cause of the satanic forces.
Yeah.
In this case, metal actually drowns out the entity. If you play metal really loud, the demonic entity doesn't really speak to you anymore.
Yeah.
So metal, and remember, metal saves the family at the very end. In a way, you have to see it, and it's like it celebrates metal. And plus, when it ends with the classic Metallic song, I was like, okay, this fucking thing rocked. It really did. Sterling, what was your thoughts on Devil's Candy?
I liked it. Ethan Embry, I think, is a great underrated actor.
Oh, absolutely.
And he plays my favorite dad of the year, next to Ray Romano and The Big Sick. But
he was a good dad.
Yes, but no, this guy is awesome. I really felt for his problem the whole time because he's not to blame for any of this. I felt really bad, the entity taking over him, making him do ritualistic stuff for hours and hours on end where he forgets his daughter at school, can't go get her. He realizes he snaps out of his state, and literally what feels like 5 minutes is actually 12 hours. That's insane. And the villain was very scary.
He's very realistic.
Especially the stuff you see him do before he even gets to the family. And the fact that he's like a child, like a giant child, is the creepiest thing. Yeah. Because you can't tell at first if he's really bad. At first you're wondering if this is going to be like them murdering someone who's like innocent, and then now it's like a thriller.
But it doesn't take that turn.
No. I couldn't tell where he was really going at first. Because I didn't see any trailers. I just watched it. So this was really cool, and also I just want to say it's really funny to see a metalhead commissioned to draw butterflies. Yes. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. I gotta draw butterflies, what the fuck.
No, great lesser seen horror film. So
Sterling, your 7.
My 7. Let me hold on, I'm getting my list out because now it's a little. This is where it gets a little tougher to remember where I'm going exactly. Oh, never mind.
What?
Yeah, so this is where everyone hates me.
Oh,
okay.
All right. So it wasn't it. This is where everybody hates me.
Yes.
Are you going to talk shit on Get Out?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm not.
Because the Oscars will disagree with you on that one.
I'm not talking shit on a movie here.
Okay.
It's a movie that I actually liked.
Okay.
So, aside from their turn as Oscar Hound of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, all I can say is I'm really glad that I actually won't be reliving this moment. Okay, so...
You honestly think people are going to tag you for your number 7?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But still, whatever you say about the film, it's your number 7.
Yeah.
It made your top 10,
Yes.
not your top 13.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, well... Okay, Sterling Anno, a.k.a. the Spork guy, really, really enjoyed, at least a lot more than he thought he would, knowing I knew I was going to hate this going in. Sterling really liked Happy Death Day. So...
No, guys,
Okay.
guys, no. I've listened to a lot of best of horror movies list.
Yeah.
That's actually in a lot of people's top 5.
Yeah, really?
That's actually in a lot of people's top 5.
Okay.
Happy Death Day had no right to be that good.
This...
It had no right to be that good, but it turned out that good. And even I was going, holy shit, this was worth the ticket admission.
Happy Death Day is easily one of the funnest horror movies I've seen in years.
And the thing is, it's not that gory. It's
No.
not that gory, but it's still so fun.
It's barely gory at all. It's like ketchup blood, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, but the story, the way that they do their Groundhog Day kind of premise, the fact that it actually uses the fact that it knows it's fun and not able to be violent to its strength is brilliant. They took the stupidest looking idea and made it one of my, like, the most enjoyable movies of the year for me.
What was the director? Scott Lansdale?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Scott's, you know what's funny? We gotta give credit to Scott Lansdale.
Yeah.
He took a really dumb sounding zombie movie and made it surprisingly fun too.
Yeah.
Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. It's like, you want a filmmaker who's gonna make a horror movie really fun, who's not Mike Mendez, get Scott Lansdale.
This guy has done the impossible.
He can take a really stupid premise and make it work.
Also, I want to give a shout out to the fact this is one of the only extremely good non-paranormal Blumhouse movies that come out in recent years.
You know what's funny? I was going to say, I'm getting tired of Blumhouse making ghost movies, but if you notice, when they make a slasher movie, the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake, this, an episode of 13 Slaves of Christmas or whatever, 12 Deadly Days is what it's called, they can do slasher stuff really, really well.
They can, and they should try more.
They need to stop with the ghost stuff and focus on slashers and other monsters.
Yeah, this was, for lack of a better term, brilliant. Because this is the second Groundhog Day movie I saw this year, actually. Because San Diego Asian Film Festival premiered a film called A Day, which is literally Groundhog Day in South Korea. But if you're a father, a new father, an expecting father, it's kind of hard to watch because it's literally about a dad watching his little daughter die horrendously.
Every single day.
It literally, as soon as it happens, it resets. So it's like 15 times per day.
Oh, wow.
But basically, it's...
but that's a film festival movie, so you can't really put that on the list.
It's not even... There's no VOD date, even.
Yeah, remember, don't be a dickhead and put film festival movies on your top of list. That's a douche move.
Plus, it's not even really a horror movie. It's literally a thriller drama, because this movie makes you cry.
Yeah.
But
Happy Death Day
makes me cry in tears because it's funny. It's actually kind of funny, too.
Plus, Jessica Roth does such a bang-up job.
I was getting right to that, that I have never seen a movie where I hate the main character so much at the beginning, but then love her so much at the end. This was the best redemption arc I've ever seen in a horror movie, I think.
You know what I've heard a lot of horror fans say? Basically, they took the bitchy blonde character in a slasher movie and then turned her into the likable final girl at the end of a slasher movie at the very end of this one.
But also, their politics were perfect for this movie because they were obviously aware of everything going on in Hollywood and stuff. They played to its strengths as well because they gave us the most non-douchey partner for her.
Yes.
In the movie that actually...
There's actually good men in this movie.
It makes you feel secure that she's around this guy.
Yeah.
And that in no way will this guy ever... he's not the twist. He's not the threat.
Yeah.
He's just the, I don't know if he can really help her kind of guy.
He's trying.
Yeah. He's trying,
so
but
basically, it takes an aspect of the Me Too thing, but it doesn't do the whole all men are evil shit. It doesn't do that at all.
It goes beyond the look. They're not all are evil, but you kind of gotta give them credit first to even know if they're one of those.
Yeah.
Because she at first obviously was just like, I just want the dumbass jocks who are going to beat me.
Yeah.
When they're angry.
Yeah.
Which is kind of one of the side plots that actually has a great twist on its own. By the way, there's like 3 of them in the movie. The montages in this movie were so good.
Oh, the murder montages
Yeah.
where she's trying to find out who the
Yes.
killer is, but
Yeah.
every single time she finds out that it's not that person, the killer actually pops out and
Yeah.
kills her in a cool way.
Yeah.
I love that montage.
Yeah.
And every time she wakes up again going, damn it, damn it, damn
Yeah.
it. That's so fun.
Yeah,
But
it
then
was.
That takes a twist too.
Yeah. They do a thing I never seen before in one of these movies.
Let's not say it, but it's like, imagine if Groundhog's Day, every single time he does something stupid, it kind of leaves a mark the next day, or
Yeah.
the next repeat, it actually leaves a mark.
It's not exactly a clean slate.
It's not exactly a clean slate, no.
But yeah, so this movie easily. There's no way this was not making my top 10, and where it ended up, I'm very happy with that. So that's all I got to say about this movie. Great.
Happy Death Day, the big surprise of the year.
Yeah.
The big surprise horror.
Huge surprise, and I'm glad again that it made a lot of money, because it's only going to keep horror hopefully more innovative. Because luckily, a lot of the horror movies that made money this year were the ones that were like a little more either original or just produced in the way that they should be. No ghost movies made money this year.
You know what? That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Because I know, Sterling, ghosts are your favorite monsters, but I hate to say this.
Well,
Blumhouse and James Wan kind of are killing the
Well,
ghost
because
genre.
they're just doing demonic exorcism movies now. Ghost movies are like
Annabelle Creation
the
is like,
Innkeepers right there.
That's a ghost movie.
That's a ghost movie.
That's a ghost
that
movie.
made no money.
Yeah.
You know, which is why we're not seeing actual ghost movies. We're seeing demon movies make a lot of money, or made because they keep making money.
Uh-huh.
But now, look, we had a clown movie, we had this movie, a Groundhog's Day movie,
and we had a social commentary horror film.
Yeah, so
all make a ton of money.
That's only going to make more nightmare logic, meaningful shit mass-produced for a little while,
You know what it gives
which
me
I'm
theory?
good with.
Is that also because of everything going on in the world with the Trump administration?
Oh yeah,
like, horror films have to be more than just spooky jump scare ghost films.
Post-Trumpian era of cinema is where we live right now, so we're going to see a lot of Bible Belt racism as the main antagonist now. So anyway, that's my 7. I can gush more, but I'm done.
Okay, we're recording. Okay, so my number 6 horror movie of 2017 is an independent monster movie made in the South that nobody saw, called Bad Blood. The movie.
Bad Blood.
No, not the fucking awful Taylor Swift song. It is the monster movie. It is. You're not gonna believe me here. It is the only were-frog film out there.
Were-frog?
Were-frog. I'm not kidding.
You say the word Bad Blood, I would not suspect it's about a were-frog.
Were-frog. I know.
It sounds like a police brutality movie.
I know. But no, Bad Blood, the movie, the were-frog film, is about a girl who sneaks out of her mom's house to go party when she and her friend are attacked by this slimy green creature thing. She wakes up tied to a laboratory from a scientist who says, I have to keep eye on you because you're infected now, and he has to give her the serum to make sure she doesn't herself transform into a monstrous were-frog thing every full moon cycle. What happens though is she sneaks out, takes some of the serums. She sneaks out, and she's eventually tracked by a psychotic private detective.
Yeah.
And taken back to her abusive family house, where
Wow.
where guess what? The father thinks that she's on drugs, takes the serum and breaks it in front of her.
Wow.
Yeah, because he thinks it's drugs. She goes, "You fucking idiot!" And when they're in the full moon happens, all her hair. By the way, the girl's played by a pretty blonde girl. I think her name's something. It'll pop up, but
okay.
Her hair falls out and she turns into... There's this long sequence where she's transforming and she's screaming and she's slime's covering all over her and her hair's falling out. And she turns into a were-frog when the full moon happens, and she just decimates her whole family.
Wow.
I mean, blood everywhere. And you know what's funny, though, is when she turns into a were-frog, this is why I put the movie as my number 6. This is going to be fucked up. But there's a scene where she chases her little fat kid brother.
Yeah.
And her little fat kid brother is like shooting down the suburban street on a bike with the monster, with the werefrog monster chasing after him, and just imagine a short, like, fat kid on a bike,
Yeah.
like riding the bike directly towards the camera, screaming, ah, ah, and the monster's like right behind him, and then catches him and like rips his guts out and stuff.
Wow.
And just that image, I was in tears of laughter. I'm sorry, and because of that, I was like, this isn't in my top 10 just because of that one
That's
scene.
awesome.
But what happens though is the private detective starts finding out about the scientists and starts fucking with his experiments.
Okay.
And what happens is it turns, and the serum looks like the reagent from Reanimator.
Okay.
And it ends up turning into like a scientist-bound werefrog movie. The werefrog creature looks like a person with just a bunch of makeup put on them and slime and green stuff, but it's still kind of cool, and we can say, hey, it's a werefrog movie. But why I put this movie on my number 6, though, is it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that fat kid scene is the price of admission alone. And it has this feeling of a Stuart Gordon film.
Sure.
It feels like a Stuart Gordon movie made in 1989 with a low budget, and it was shot in the South. That's why at the end of the movie I was like, that felt like a lost Stuart Gordon movie. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. It's like the quintessential 2017 watch a B monster movie with a pizza and popcorn and beer on a Saturday night.
Sure.
While you're in your underwear and you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's what that movie is. The Saturday night monster movie of 2017 is Bad Blood the movie. It's a lot of fun.
I like that.
Yeah, but just lower your expectations and your standards a little bit. You're gonna have a fun time.
Okay.
Yeah, Bad Blood the movie. It sucks nobody saw it though, but because it came out in October and so many horror movies go to VOD in October, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It becomes oversaturated. So,
True.
yeah. Bad Blood the movie, fun werefrog film.
Yeah.